One of the things we often need to do in a form is add extra text, and these are called labels. I'd like to add a title to my form, so from the Form Design Tools Design tab, I'm going to go to the Controls group, and the particular control I'm looking for is this AA, and it's called Label. When I click this particular button and then click on my form, I can add a title, such as Class Details. I might add some more text. If I click the Label button again, I can click and then click on my form, and I'll put Designed by Kathy. So if you need any extra text on your form, use the Label button or the Label control on the Design tab in the ribbon. Now, formatting is really important because this is what the user interacts with, and this form needs to be visually appealing. First of all, I might decide to format my title. I'll click on my title, I'll go to the Format tab in the ribbon, and I might choose a different font. I might go for the font Arial, which is easy to read. And I might change the font color or the fore color to something like green. I might also decide to make it bold, and I might decide to make it bigger, a bigger font size. So very similar to Word and other programs that you probably dealt with. Now the label is not clearly showing, so I need to double click one of the handles around the outside of the label so it best fits. And I'm also going to drag it right across so it goes the full length of my form. I may have to lasso these particular fields and labels and just move them down a bit so I've got room to move. I might decide that I'd like to center this. So also in the font group on the Format tab in the ribbon, you've got left, center and right. So I might send it to the center. I might also decide to put a background color. So if I hit the drop down here, I can choose a background color. And so formatting is available under the Format tab. I might decide to format this label also, and I might go for basically the same look as this. So I'm going to click on the title, and what's really useful is the Format Painter, which is actually sitting here on the Format tab just to the right of the font size. If I click the Format Painter and then click on Design by Kathy, it adopts the same look. And then I'll just click on that particular control or label and double click one of the corners for a best fit. I might decide to make that left align and slightly smaller, but at least I've got the same colours for the font and for the background. If I wish to change the colour of the outline of this particular label, I'll go to Shape Outline and I'll set it to transparent. And so I don't get the black line around the outside. I'll just double check that. Transparent. And I'll do the same for this option here. It actually looks like it's still got a border around it, so I'm just going to check. If I go to the Home tab in the ribbon and I hit the drop down on the View button and ask the Form View, yeah, there's no border around the outside, but it's sometimes confusing in design, so often we switch between Design View and Form View just to double check that things are the way we expect them to be. So I'm now going to hit the drop down on the View button again and return back to Design View. If I wish to change the colour of the form entirely, I'll click on the background of the form and then I'll go to Format in the ribbon and I'll choose a different shape fill. And so I've changed the design colour entirely. I might decide also that these particular labels here, I'd like them to be right aligned so they're closer to their fields. So I might choose the Right Align button or Align Right, and do the same for these ones as well, and Align Right. I might also decide to select this lot, hold the Shift key and select this lot, and I'm just lassoing as we've spoken about earlier, and I'm just going to make them bold, and I might make them Arial, and I might make them 10. I might also decide that this group, hold the Shift key, and this group are also going to be Arial and 10, and I might make them left align so they're closer to their labels. I might make notes, the label, and notes the field the same height, so I'm just going to lasso these two, and if I go to Arrange in the ribbon I can size them to the tallest. Now I'm curious as to what this looks like if it was viewed by the user. So I'm going to go back to the Home tab in the ribbon and View, Form View. And so this is what the user is going to see, which I'm quite happy with at this stage. So I'm going to save my form and return to the design of the form.